Okay, so I have both Angela Lowe and Angela Payne here. I don't see, I know Angela Payne, you don't have video, but can you all hear me? Hello, Ronnie. You can see over here in the Zoom chat. You can let me know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Give it a few more minutes to wait for everybody else. And we can go ahead and jump into chapter 10. It's kind of a short chapter. I won't be with you long, but the sooner the better. Let's give it about a couple more minutes. Who are we missing? Mark, Ephraim, Jesse, and Tisha. Okay. Hello, Jesse. Jesse is listening in on my phone. Shamika's here. Okay, can you hear Shamika? Jesse, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Shamika, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. All right, let's just go ahead and go into it. Right now, I'm just going to do a short lecture on chapter 10. I'm on page 210. I know I have spoken to pretty much all of you throughout the week. By now, hopefully you all have the hang of how the class is going to go. Going into next week, we do management. going to be pretty much the same setup. I'll do, this is our last video lecture of the week. I will do a video lecture, I know Monday at 11 o'clock. So be looking out for that announcement. I'll have that posted. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to do it Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll probably have video lecture maybe 3 times next week. So possibly Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, but I will have all that information posted on Moodle. That is going on management. So as for the rest of this week goes, today we're going to go ahead and do chapter 10. It's a very short chapter. We go back, we talk more about this when we get into management. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. And then tomorrow you have chapters 11, read over chapters 11 and 12. Also, do not forget you have quiz 2 tomorrow. It will be open at 8:30, and you will have until 11:59 to have it completed. So you have all day. I went and looked at the grades for everybody. And guys, remember, you have your PowerPoints, you have your books, you have all the information you need right there. It's going to be 25 questions. If you need to take all, I don't have a time limit on the quiz, so please take your time on the quiz. Do not rush through it. You can spend all day if you need to, but I don't think you can close out during the middle of the quiz. If so, I will look into having that, removing that setting so that if you need to close out on the quiz and come back to it, that you can do so. But take your time on these quizzes. It's to be honest with you guys, it's not necessary. It doesn't make a lot of sense to score a 40 on an pretty much open book quiz. I mean, I'm not there with you, but you have all the information you need right there on Moodle. If you're struggling with a question, please, you can call me and ask me questions about it. I know Jesse has called me and asked me questions about a question. If you are confused about something, please feel free to call me. Be honest with you guys, at about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, if it's not an emergency, I probably won't get back to you until the next day. So don't wait until the last minute to start doing your work to start to call me to ask questions. But for quiz 2, please don't forget to complete that tomorrow and to take your time. Like I said, you have until 8:30 tomorrow morning until 11:59 tomorrow night to have it completed. You have your books, you have your PowerPoints, and you also can call me and ask a question if you are unclear. Most of it is vocabulary, as well as some of the questions are questions from your review. It will be over chapters 5 through 10. Some questions from chapter 11 and chapter 12 is kind of in there too. You'll know it when you read chapter 11 and 12. The final exam is going to be a lot of the same questions that you have seen. The final exam will probably be maybe 35 or 40 questions. I haven't decided quite yet, but it'll be the same thing. You will have until 8:30 Friday morning until 11:59 Friday night. Please remember to get all of your assignments in. I will have the cutoff for all your assignments to be due Friday at noon. Whatever assignment you don't have in there, I'm not going to call and chase you to see if you turn it in or where it is. If it's not in Moodle, then you will receive a 0 for it. Make sure all your assignments are logged or uploaded to Moodle. If you are still struggling with how to do that, please call me and ask me. I can do a Zoom demonstration if you need me to. Like I did the other day, we can do a share screen and I can show you how to submit your work. It's very, very simple. I think everybody has got the hang of it by now. But if you are still struggling with that, please call me and let me know and I can walk you through the steps. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No.
Everybody good? Great. Okay, guys. So I know that doing these video lectures is kind of limited as far as having discussion. I really like to get input from you all. Please feel free to ask me questions about anything, even though we are on video lecture. When we are face-to-face, when we are face-to-face in the next, 2 or 3 weeks. Then we can kind of go back over these things and have more of an introduction and getting to know each of you. I really hate the fact that I don't really know you guys, aside from knowing your faces from first quarter. But just hold tight. About 3 weeks, we will all be at Helms together and being able to spend some more time to finish out the quarter doing our lab classes. But if you just want to just ask me questions in general, just about my experience or anything, please feel free to do so. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'm on page 210, talking about the responsibilities of front of the house employees. What is front of the house? Who does that include? That includes your servers, your bartenders, sometimes your team leaders. Team leaders are just kind of like your cheaper supervisors. You have like your general manager, and say sometimes managers will have team leaders. And what we used to do at my old job, the team leader would get paid like $100 to kind of be the overseer of the front of the house, to kind of help the general manager. And it kind of helps to shift the responsibility around, because if you only know how to do one thing, then it doesn't really help you to grow. That's one of the things that I like to do. I like to challenge myself. I am constantly challenging myself to get out of my comfort zone, to try different things, to do things that I've never done before, i.e. the Moodle, doing this is new to me. However, we've all been doing in this together, which I appreciate you guys participating. And I really want to see all of you at the end of this quarter, and please remember to encourage each other and keep each other up. And if someone is slacking behind, encourage one another and say, hey, you can do this. Do this together. If you need to, work on your homework together if you're confused about it. I will never stop you guys from being able to help each other. I'll never stop you from doing that. However, I do want you to be able to know how to do your own work and to be able to know how to outsource. When I say outsource, that means like using YouTube, looking at articles. I'm always reading articles, always, always, always. I'm not a book reader, but I love reading articles. I love reading captions. I follow different people on Instagram when it comes to fitness, nutrition, vegan, people who cook vegan or vegetarian chefs. So I'm constantly outsourcing in that way. But your front of the house employees, when it comes to nutrition, do they have a responsibility? Yes, they do. Because who are they explaining the menu to? Your customers. So as the chef or as the back of the house kitchen manager, you all have to be able to explain your menu to your front of the house employees, just like they would explain it to the customers. So say if you're running a new nutrition plan, we talked about nutrition plan in our previous chapter. Nutrition plan is basically your new items that you plan on introducing to your menu or introducing to your new customer base. You need to be able to explain what those items are clearly to your front of the house employees, because they are the ones who communicate it to your customers. Take it from me as someone who used to run the back of the house as an executive chef. If your front of the house is not clear on what's on the menu and what each ingredient is and what it pertains to, it can get miscommunicated to your customers. So say, for instance, if a customer is asking about what quinoa is, if your server responds and I don't know, that does not make you look good. That does not make you look good. That does not make the restaurant look good. Your front of the house employees need to be able to clearly communicate what all menu items are and what the nutrition facts or nutrition importance is of each item. You'd want to keep, and we'll go back over this when we get into management, but you want independent thinking front of the house employees. Think of it as your front of the house employees are salesperson. Salesperson, think of when you go buy a car. You want somebody that knows how to sell food. So you want somebody that can be able to clearly understand what each menu item is and know how to make it sound tantalizing to the customer, make it sound good. It might be a new menu item or a new nutrition item that a customer has not seen or heard of. You want to hire front of the house employees that know how to communicate it in a very intriguing way to your customers to get them more involved or get them more curious about what those items are. Side note, when you all are going out to different restaurants, don't be afraid to order items that you've never heard of. Don't be afraid to order items that you don't particularly order. If you're someone that pretty much sticks with always chicken, I know that's one of the old school things that some of my friends always stick to. They always order anything that has chicken. Start ordering things that have steak in it, or start ordering things that have fish, or start ordering things that don't have any meat in it, and just order just vegetables. Just try. Get familiar. I'm always going to tell you all to get familiar with different cooking methods, different ingredients, different ways of serving, garnishing, plating. Everybody has a different style. So don't be afraid to venture out and see what everybody else is doing. That's how you get familiar. That's how you grow. I'm always going to push you all to and want to grow more and to be better and to step outside of your comfort zone. I'm always, always, always going to encourage that. So that's your front of the house employees. That's the importance of your front of the house employees when it comes to your nutrition plan. Anybody have any questions? Yay, nay? All right, moving on. Back of the house employees, I'm on page 211. The importance of back of the house employees when it comes to nutrition is they have to know how to properly prepare such nutritious items. We talked about nutrient density in, I believe, the second or third chapter. And we talked about proper ways of preparing menu items and to retain as much nutrient density as possible. So when we say nutrient density, that means that we want to be cautious of how long we're soaking our vegetables. We want to just rinse them, but not soaking, because if we're soaking our vegetables, fruits and vegetables, they're losing nutrients. Instead of deep frying our vegetables or deep frying our fruits, maybe we're just steaming them. We're trying to keep that nutrient density. We have to train our back of the house employees on how to properly handle such ingredients to keep the nutrient density, because that's important to customers. That's important to basically this world now. A lot of people now are switching more to nutritious diets. They want to be able to go out and have more options other than just eating salads. So you as a chef, you have to understand what exactly you would be looking for as somebody who was going on a nutritious journey yourself. I talked about how I gave up meat about 2 years ago, March 26, 2018. When I was in Hawaii, I was around a lot of vegans. I was around vegetarians. So to challenge myself, I gave up meat and just started focusing more so on vegetables and fruit and trying to get familiar with different methods or different fruits and vegetables. When we go to the international market, and I will have that announcement in the weeks to come. When we go to the international market, I always like to buy all different types of fruits and vegetables. I spend way too much money on it. But I do that to buy things that I've never heard of or have never tasted. And I bring them home, I cut them all up, and I just taste it. And I try to cook with them, and I try to figure out how I could serve them or how I could cook them or what their nutritious value is. So if you as a back of the house manager, whether it's kitchen manager, GM, or the executive, you have to be able to communicate the nutritious facts, the nutritious properties of each ingredient to your staff. That way, when your cooks or your sous chefs or whatever are cooking your menu, because they have that understanding of what it means to be nutrient dense or nutrient cautious, then they are going to be more aware of how to keep the nutrient density in the food items. So, anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay. Going into page 212. Training staff to meet nutrition goals. Kind of what we've already talked about in the past. Just want to kind of read the first paragraph. It is essential that restaurant and food service managers train their employees to meet the needs of their customers when it comes to nutrition programs. Training is defined as activities that are designed to introduce new tasks and to assist employees in performing them. When we get into management next week, we're going to definitely go into more in depth of different ways of training. But for training for a nutrition program, how can we do that? How can we get our point across for how to introduce our nutrition program when it comes to training our both back of the house and front of the house employees? For one, this is what we used to do. We would always cook the new menu items, and we would have everybody come and taste them, and we would go through each item and help to make them to understand the importance of each menu item or of each plate or each dish, and to have them review over it, have them tested on it. So that's an option that you can have for your restaurant. If you haven't noticed, I'm always going to refer to you guys as chefs. I'm always going to, or future business owners or entrepreneurs. I like to address you all in those ways so that you all know what it's like to be in those positions. I don't know you guys' background of who's worked where or who has done what, but when we get together, we will talk more about that. But I'm always going to introduce you guys address you all as future chefs or future business owners or entrepreneurs, because that's what I want for you all. I'm not sure what goals you have or why you all are at school, but I'm hoping it's to be more than just a cook or more than just somebody who works at McDonald's or Taco Bell. Hopefully you all see grand futures for yourselves like I do. I'm always going to tell you to imagine the culinary industry as being like a big circle, not just working in the back of the kitchen forever for the rest of your life. I told you guys a little bit about my experience and things that I have done. There's definitely always more to come. I'm always going to push myself. I'm always going to push you all too. You'll hear that quite a bit. Skipping down to where it says education. Education differs from training in that education is more formal process designed to transfer knowledge and skill to an employee or individual. So how can we do this when we come to nutrition program? We can do that by testing, or we can do that by enrolling our employees into different programs. Kind of like right now, you all are taking different classes to be able to get your education. I know you all are going to feel quite proud of yourselves when you walk across that stage and you received your diploma or your associate's diploma. So education is definitely a factor that you could use for introducing your education program. Nutrition program. Going down to where it says skill gap. The difference between the current skills of an employee and the skills that he or she needs to develop is called a skill gap, meaning that somebody who not necessarily is up to par with where you need them to be when it comes to their skill level. So you as an employer, you're going to have to find a way to bridge that gap, whether it be introducing new training methods, introducing new educational methods. The ADDIE model down below on page 10.3. Oh, I forgot my PowerPoint. I'll load the PowerPoint up today as well. The ADDIE model stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. And that's basically the structure that you can use when it comes to introducing your nutrition program. Analyze your program, meaning look it over, see what needs to be changed or how it can be introduced to your front of the house and back of the house employees. How should it be designed? How it should be developed? How it will be implemented, whether it be through, think about your training, and how it will be evaluated to see if it actually is working. How is it getting across to my clients, to my customers? And you could look that over back on page 212. Please remember to read over chapter 10. Training tools, page 216. Training tools are materials developed to efficiently communicate training information to staff. And that could be a number of things. It could be graphs, it could be different diagrams, it could be like testing, videos, Case scenarios. You read your case scenario or your case study in the beginning of the chapter. And what we would do for training, I used to work at my second job when I moved to Atlanta. I worked at Flying Biscuit for a while in Sandy Springs when it first opened. And what we did was basically role play, where we as the employees switched back and forth from playing the customer and from playing the server. And we would switch roles so that everybody knows what is expected from one another and how the customer views how and view how the restaurant is operating from a customer's view. So that's another quote unquote training tool that you could do, which is role playing. Did anybody have any questions so far? No, yes, no. All right. Clay's Country Kitchen, that's on page 218. I'm not going to go over that. You can read it for yourself. We're going to talk a lot about Clay's Country Kitchen. But so overall, that's pretty much chapter 10. It's a very, very short chapter. Take some time and read over it. Please don't forget to finish your assignment. Don't forget about quiz 2 that's due tomorrow by midnight. And if anyone doesn't have any questions, you all can have a fabulous day. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye all.